Hello everyone, Jeff here. So continuing where we left off in the last video, I was working on getting the skill grid and system working, but I was mostly focused on getting just hand equipment working. I wanted to be able to put an axe in the character's hand and strike a tree with the axe. So I've got that working. Let's go ahead and take a look. So in implementing this axe collision thing, I've added several effects to the game, which I think together they kind of accumulate to a much better, much more solid feel to the world. And that's something I might talk about a little bit more here in a bit. So the first thing I'm going to show off is when I swing my weapon, you'll notice that I now have weapon trails in the game, which we didn't have in the MMO, but I really like that effect. I think it helps, especially when something's moving quickly like your axe head here, it helps visualize and understand where the axe head is. So you can see that effect in action there. You also notice there's a little whoosh effect. So I'm going to run up to this tree here, and I'm going to chop it a couple times. I'm going to point out a few things. So the first thing I want to draw attention to is that the collision system is working. You'll notice when I hit that tree, as soon as the axe head hits the tree, the sound effect stops, the animation stops, and we get the hit sound instead. So I'm going to face away from the tree, and I'm going to swing again, and notice how it'll take longer for the hit effect to happen. And if I hit it one more time, I think I'm going to fall the tree, but we'll go ahead and do that, and you'll get the idea. So you notice I've got notifications working as well, which is pretty handy in debugging to get a notification coming from the server that in effect, an action has occurred. That's pretty handy actually. Now another thing that's happening as I chop down these trees, I'm now gaining experience. So if we pull up in the skill grid, I've zeroed out all the disciplines here, and I'm only showing values that are actually being pulled off the character instance. So you see, in the case of gathering, I have 1,166 experience. We'll fall another tree here. Oops. And I have it a little bit on the generous side as far as only taking a couple hits to fall the tree. It'll probably take more for an entry-level character for that to work. Well, the scroll grid, now we're at 1174 experience. So you see I'm accumulating experience as I knock down the trees. So that's working well. Another thing I've been working on is just in general collisions. So I've got tree collisions working. If I run up against this tree, I'll actually hit the tree and I won't be able to walk through it anymore. So that's really nice. For so long, I've been able to just run straight up the sides of a hill. It does look a little silly. It's in some ways useful in testing, but it's not really the way we want it in Antilia, of course. So we can't walk through trees anymore. And if I walk up to this hill, it should stop me. I won't be able to just run up the side. In fact, I also have the slide down mechanic started. You can kind of see it just started to happen there. This particular hill is too steep. Now I am having a little bit of, there's still some work to be done on the character controller, the movement. When I walk downhill, for some reason it's slowing the character down. I suspect I know why. So there's still some work to do. I also started working on the jump mechanic, and obviously I don't have any animations for that yet, but we've got jumping working, and if you just hit the button, you have a different effect than if you hold it down. It took me quite a long time to get this working in a suitable way so that regardless of frame rate, we wanted to make sure the jump height was always consistent. So I've put some new features in the engine, and I found a better way to do this so that every time you jump, if you hold the button down the whole time, you always hit the same peak height. And that's all going to be affected by character stats. So as you level up, it'll probably change your running speed and your ability to jump higher and further. So that's going to do it for this week, but before I conclude, just a few things I'm going to be working on here pretty shortly in the future. There's a few things that the development team needs and we're going to need for testing that I want to start to think about and start addressing here pretty soon. And those are, one, we need a new launcher for Antilia. It's gotten a bit difficult to keep the dev team in sync with new versions of Antilia. When I package it up with just like a zip file, it comes out to being around 2 gigabytes in size, and that's really not convenient to be distributing every time we do one of these updates. So I want a launcher, I want something that can do kind of like auto patching and only distribute the files that have actually changed. That'll save a bit of hassle on the dev team. A couple other things that we need is a good bug tracker. We need a repository where we can start collecting all the known issues and just make sure that things are getting addressed and fixed in a timely manner. And also I want something to help us start organizing and tracking ideas for Antilia's lore. So that might be something that I might make kind of public on the website, and I'll let you guys kind of look at it. There might be some spoilers in there, but we'll figure out if maybe we need spoiler tags or something like that. So a few more things to look forward to. I hope you enjoyed this week's update, and I hope you'll tune in again next time. Take care, see you next time. A special thanks goes to this month's Patreon supporters. If you'd like to support the project, you can do so by visiting www.patreon.com/Antilia.